What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I am DJ aka Token Black Guy. If you're here for the first time, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate it. We're getting close to that 400 subscriber mark. So yeah, keep it going. So yeah, that Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer basically broke the internet the past couple of days. I did my reaction for it. I'm excited about the movie. I got emotional during the trailer. I just think this movie's gonna be really good, just in the fact that we have to pay our respects to Chadwick Boseman and everything. And just, I'm a big Black Panther fan, so yeah, I'm excited for it. But I said I wasn't going to do much of like digging deep in it. I want to be like surprised, but I do want to get a couple breakdowns and stuff that I'd missed during the trailer. So, you know, new rock star that does it best, Mr. Eric Voss, he breaks it down for you. So we're going to check this out and see what they got for us. See what stuff that we missed and did not catch, you know. And I want to see what some of that Wakanda writing said on the murals and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that had some kind of like meaning behind it. But let's check it out. Mr. Eric Voss.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric.
Make sure you subscribe over to New Rockstars. They give breakdowns of everything.
Which leaves us with
I love that scene right there.
With questions. Let's break down this trailer frame by frame for the visual details you might have missed, translations of every bit of Wakanda text that we see on screen, and just appreciation for the amazing production design and the other deeper layers of meaning that you might have overlooked. Let's get started.
Put these captions on. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to take this music out for copyright.
The trailer opens with No Woman, No Cry by Bob
Beautiful
Marley
song.
and the Wailers, but here covered by Nigerian singer Thames. Bob Marley's lyrics are often misinterpreted as, if you have no woman, there's nothing to make you cry, but that's not the truth. It's not a song for men, it's really a song for women. It means, woman, don't cry. Wailers bassist Aston Barrett in 2012 explained that the song is really about the strength of women and encouragement to be like a lion, with or without a man. And Barrett encouraging women to rise up as lions applies to the women of this movie. Nakia, Shuri, Ramonda, Okoye, Aneka, and Riri Williams, that despite their tears, they can still be strong feline warriors in their own right. Nakia stands on a beach with a Mayan pyramid behind her. These types of pyramids towards found throughout Mexico along the Yucatan Peninsula. The Atlanteans in this film are going to be connected to ancient Mayan culture. Namor actor Tenoch Huerta told Vice that he had to learn a language for this movie that was based on ancient Mayan. We'll talk more about how that affects the plot of this movie.
He's Mexican American too. That's pretty cool. That scene right there is just beautiful. The white.
Good friends we have and good friends we've lost.
That's a good line right there.
So here, Ramonda sits upon the Wakandan throne, flanked by the Dora Milaje, and the floor of this room that she shares with the other tribe elders is the exposed red clay floor of Mount Bashenga. This throne itself bears the Wakandan letters that translate to wisdom and loyalty. And notice how Ramonda appears to have a chunk of vibranium ore on her armrest. Maybe the conflict in this movie has to do with vibranium as a natural resource that is being plundered, both from the Wakandans and from the Atlanteans. To the left, in blue and purple, is Dorothy Steele as the elder of the merchant tribe. Returning from the 2018 film, Dorothy Steele passed away at age 95 in October 2021 after completing her work for this film. In the streets of Wakanda,
R.I.P. man, R.I.P.
White is what Wakandans wear when they are in mourning. Ramonda and Shuri were both wearing white to mourn T'Chaka's death at the beginning of the 2018 film.
A comfort for your loss. Thank you, Nakia.
Now Wakanda celebrates the life of T'Challa. Shuri grieves in a procession with her mother Ramonda over the Marvel Studios logo that's also in white, led by the Dora Milaje, who in this very rare occasion trade out their red uniforms for these white robes. So yes, this film will address Chadwick Boseman's death by showing the death of T'Challa.
I'm pretty sure there's gonna be tears galore in the theater when that happens.
If this film might be set during the blip, maybe they could be mourning T'Challa's dusting, but that is not possible because Shuri was among the dusted according to Avengers Endgame, and Shuri is in this movie. Also, according to everyone on cast and crew, this, along with every other Phase 4 title aside from a couple flashbacks, is set definitively after the blip. I just hope that they don't make the actual circumstances of its death a kind of plot point to the movie. Like, this movie does not have to be a conspiratorial mystery to solve how T'Challa died, but
just have him die
about what people do after in his absence. Now, the gate that they are headed toward has a statue of Bashenga. Bashenga was the first Black Panther and Wakandan king who united the tribes of Wakanda.
I love that when the first movie, that saying and everything.
Communion with Bast.
So cool.
Here you can actually see Bast sitting at Bashenga's feet. But then notice the figure to the right. That is a female figure. Could it be Bashenga's wife, his sister, his daughter, his mother? There is another feline sitting at her feet, which I believe to be Sekhmet. Bast is derived from Bastet, the Egyptian feline goddess, the more peaceful of the pairing that also includes the more aggressive feline deity of Sekhmet. T'Challa actually mentioned both of these in Civil War.
In my culture, death is not the end. It's more of a stepping off point. You reach out with both hands and Bast and Sekhmet. They lead you into the green veldt where you can run forever.
And by green veldt, I think we all assumed that was the ancestral plane, but this green garden may actually be the green veldt.
I need to watch Civil War again. I love that. That's one of my favorite ones.
To the ancestral plane. This appears to be the Royal Cemetery, aka the necropolis of Wakanda. So as the past couple titles of the MCU have started to explore how certain superheroes are avatars of deities and how those deities are actually represented in the Marvel Universe in Omnipotent City in Thor: Love and Thunder, including someone who we thought was Bast and a white-furred feline figure that I think might be Sekhmet. This film may now expand this kind of mythology to include both the Black Panther and Bast and an ancestral female companion empowered by Sekhmet. Moving on.
Along the way. In this great future, you can't forget.
Angela Backs look gorgeous.
There's another angle of the throne room.
Yeah, what's those say?
Formation, and now the columns have writing on them. We can see in power, then T'Challa, then our hero, and honor forever. And we know from some set photos that the full transcription of this phrase is rest in power, King T'Challa, our hero, 'twas an honor, Wakanda forever. And notice how each platform represents a different part of Wakanda. We actually saw these platforms in the art behind them in the 2018 film. On the left, the column at the guard's feet reads Golden City. That is the name of the central metropolis of Wakanda. The next one, King's Guard, that represents Dora Milaje.
I want a show where it's just like
tribe, that is the green cloak
Wakanda, like it's the everyday goings of Wakanda.
Tribe, that is the red
That'd be a good Disney Plus show. But animated or what? That'd be a good show.
Symbols in red clay, much like the floor of this throne room. The one on the far left is a large tree with expansive branches and equally expansive roots, likely the Panther tree that we see in the ancestral plane. But you may also be reminded of the Asgardian Yggdrasil world's tree. It's just always interesting when the MCU's disparate mythologies parallel each other in little ways like this. Then Ramonda, now in black, stands on the shoreline that we think Nakia is on, and notice some gray hairs are visible under her headpiece. She looks magnificent, but even she cannot hide the toll that her life and losses have taken on her. Moving on.
This shot right here is beautiful. That's a beautiful shot.
Here we see the birth of Namor. Namor is Marvel's first mutant, publication date-wise, and now that the MCU has finally said the word mutation in the context of Kamala Khan, it's likely that they're gonna call Namor a mutant in this movie as well. Namor is the mutant son born to the Atlantean princess of Fen and a human captain of the Lemurian Star, which kinda got referenced in Winter Soldier.
Target is a mobile satellite launch platform, the Lemurian Star.
Yeah, Lemurian Star, potato topato. Now, while DC's Aquaman first appeared in 1941, Namor actually precedes him, joining Captain America in the android form of the Human Torch in 1939. These three were the first real Marvel superheroes. Over the years, Namor has been known as really an anti-hero who seeks vengeance against surface dwellers, and in more recent comics has had a history of bad blood with Wakanda and T'Challa. Now, Atlantis has actually been hinted at a few times in the MCU. In Iron Man 2, the world map that gave us our first sighting of Wakanda in the MCU also included a site in the South Atlantic Ocean. And then Endgame had that one line about
I remember that.
Earthquakes.
Get a reading on those tremors?
It was a mild subduction under the African plate.
How are we handling it?
It's an earthquake under the ocean. We handle it by not handling it.
And now we actually get to visit Atlantis and meet these people. It's interesting how this mother gives birth in shallow water. You can see the surface right above her head. All the Atlanteans that we see are blue-skinned, as Namor's mother was in the comics, but here his mother may be human, thus the shallow water, just a human who might have fallen in love with an Atlantean father, and that's why Namor isn't blue. Maybe his skin is a reflection of his mutation. Let's move on.
Interesting. These shots are just gorgeous. But I have to see the movie on IMAX. I can't see it regular. One of
adult
the human
Namor turns from a
interferences.
large orb of light underwater. What is this? I'm wondering if this could be an underwater explosion that Namor is just turning away from in slow motion. Maybe one of those mild subductions that Okoye brushed off, but was actually the surface dwellers mining away at Namor's home. Namor wears a ceremonial Mayan headpiece with a jaguar head, making Namor parallel to the Black Panther, but with the ferocious feline of Central America.
But why would a
approaches a human research
underwater
vessel,
wear a
but
jaguar?
This isn't a purely scientific mission because a guard is holding a freaking machine gun, and this dive is occurring at night. If you want to see stuff under the ocean, why wouldn't you just go during the day? Yeah, this is not a harmless academic trip, my friends. This actually might be the human intervention that aggravates Atlantis and puts Wakanda in an awkward situation, as Wakanda, unlike Atlantis, opened up to the world community, and thus, from the Atlanteans' point of view, might have made themselves culpable every time the humans do something stupid. Moving on.
But they're forcing them to do something, right?
Okay, now a different shot that I don't think is part of that research vessel. Here, we see some armed, uniformed soldiers invading a Wakandan lab, forcing a scientist to open a door, and then holding other scientists at gunpoint beside these bubbling water columns. This could be an off-campus lab where, I don't know, maybe some Navy SEALs were sent to take everything the Wakandans know about Atlantis. Or maybe they're just there to steal their vibranium. Actually, later in the trailer, we do see the Dora Milaje coming to these scientists' aid. The fact that a conflict, though, is happening means that international relations are probably going to shit. Then this insane shot where Shuri stands on the red clay floor with the throne as fire climbs the columns, but a room around this floods. Later shots in the trailer show this room flooding, and that is shocking because again, this room is atop Mount Bashenga.
Oh wow,
so
yeah,
that's reached that high. It must have been an insanely tall tidal wave. And indeed, as we see throughout the trailer, all of Wakanda is going to flood. This movie looks like it's going to closely adapt the 2012 Avengers vs. X-Men comic storyline, in which, and it's kind of crazy, just go with me on this, the Phoenix Force takes 5 hosts, one of them Namor, and tracks down the Avengers to Wakanda, and then uses Namor's amplified powers to flood the entire nation of Wakanda, killing countless innocents. So I assume in this movie, the Atlanteans will flood Wakanda as a kind of final escalation, maybe a measure of last resort that begins with Wakanda siding with humanity over them. But is it gonna be Namor who floods Wakanda, or one of the other Atlanteans that he doesn't necessarily agree with the extremity of? Let's play a quick first order. Shuri in the lab greets Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, a brilliant MIT student and engineer played by Dominique Thorne. And she's gonna be getting her own Disney Plus series in fall 2023. Looks like Shuri might be doing some recruiting of great minds from Tony Stark's alma mater. Now, Letitia Wright as an actress is just very thin.
I wonder if she came from like the Oakland school that the child started. Yes, she has.
I'll bring this up because the final shot of this trailer is just gonna force us to pay close attention to all of these actors. And right as Shuri and Riri slap hands, Tim's repetition of everything gonna be all right transitions seamlessly into Kendrick Lamar's All Right. Like many Bob Marley songs, Lamar's All Right became a protest anthem. He conceived this track while visiting South Africa's Robben Island to see the cell where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned. And he wrote these lyrics with an intent to heal. Thereafter, this song became a key song for the BLM movement, both to grieve, but also to fight through that grief and find a way to express joy and to keep one's head up. And I love how both of these songs in this trailer work together to try to
blend together real good.
Keep us strong. Let's move on.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone.
Okay, an interesting
That's the most powerful
shows
line.
This ranch house on fire, and then there's like an old-timey carriage, someone in an old-timey attire dead out front as a young Namor gazes up at this fire with 4 blue-skinned Atlanteans. I assume this is part of Namor's origin story, maybe the death of one of his parents, and the fact that this seems to be set so far in the past might mean that they give Namor a similar origin that he had in the comics. He could just be very old, someone who ages very slowly. I like how the Atlanteans wear these breathing masks over their faces, but presumably to circulate water into their mouths, since they might
when they're on surface.
But Namor doesn't have to wear one because he is part human. But then we have this match cut of adult Namor meeting the Atlanteans on a different shore. This, if you look at the structures in the background, is Wakanda. Now, Wakanda seemed to be in the middle of the African continent, but it did border a body of water. And if you look later on in this trailer, on the same beachfront, Namor and the others face fire from a Wakandan aircraft as M'Baku leaps at them from a boat. But interesting how in that shot, the other Atlanteans dive back in the water, but Namor doesn't move. Does he have some kind of divine protection as the avatar of a Mayan god? We return to the mountain kingdom of the Jabari tribe of M'Baku. Notice the snow-covered gorilla statue. This may be where the Wakandans have to flee to after the flooding, since it's higher ground. Ramonda addresses the UN, and after that skirmish with the commandos and the Wakandan scientists, I'm wondering if she's now declaring that Wakanda is actually turning away from the world community, a reversal of her son's address in the 2018 film. And then we get another shot of T'Challa's funeral ceremony, showing his face on a billboard with the Wakandan letters translating to "The Panther King forever lives in us and rests with an unseen with the," and the last word is blocked out, but I see an ES, and based on the spacing, I think it's ancestors. So the Panther King forever lives in us and rests with the ancestors. Then there's the yellow building below that's selling Wakandan something. Can't really make it out. Let's move on.
Given everything.
Ironheart. This movie's gonna be
emotional
epic, I
speech
think.
given by Ramonda that I thought was in the UN is actually being delivered in the Wakandan throne room, perhaps to the Atlantean invaders who are now demanding more from her. And she says, "My entire family is gone." So T'Chaka and T'Challa are gone, but what about Shuri? I would be really surprised if Shuri dies in this movie, but she may not be actually dead. She might just be in the ancestral plane.
I think something happens to her, and then she comes back at the end as the Black Panther.
Plane, she would have to find a way to synthetically regrow the heart-shaped herb. The ancestral plane could be where she encounters her father T'Chaka, her brother T'Challa, maybe in the form of a silent panther sitting in the tree. But also in the ancestral plane, my friends, is likely her cousin Killmonger. I got some more thoughts on that later. We get a clear shot of Namor's
I think he's going to show up in some capacity of the movie.
Like the same bridge over the Potomac that Everett Ross is walking on. Maybe the Atlanteans also attack an American military site like the Pentagon, which is right along the Potomac. And that could be what leads that SEAL team to attacking the Wakandan lab for intel on the Atlanteans or the vibranium. And I like that female Atlantean has a necklace with it looks like a barracuda jawbone. Very cool. Wow. Then the shot of Riri Williams hammering away in Shuri's lab, popping out a piece of metal in the shape of an Ironheart. Ironheart, suggesting that Riri Williams' Ironheart suit might actually be made of vibranium. Then we see Michaela Cole's character named Aneka, who is a former member of the Dora Milaje who in the comics leaves and forms the Midnight Angels. Her armor includes some wings that enable her to fly.
Don't know about that. I read about that one.
Are, among other things, known for a certain mission with Deadpool to kill Dr. Doom after Doom steals all the Wakandan vibranium. I don't know.
I got some reason on the Midnight Angels.
Suspect behind that initial land dweller intrusion. Then
I think Doom's going to make the final cutscene going to be in this.
This mural depicts the feathered serpent deity known as, forgive my pronunciation, Kukulkan, which is the Mayan equivalent to Quetzalcoatl of Aztec mythology. So again, the way that the Black Panther uses the deity of Bast as his divine power, serving as his avatar, the way Moon Knight served as the avatar to Khonshu, I think the same process is being used by Namor, empowered by a Mayan god.
Interesting. Well, what's pushing her back?
So Okoye fights the Atlanteans on that bridge that I mentioned before. Their spear strikes pushing her back toward the water, you should note, until she plants her spear in the concrete. Then some shots of a street chase with a motorcycle and a red car, and then another shot from within that red car shows a drone plane crashing into a line of police cars. Then a close-up of Namor with a necklace of pearls, or could those be Kamoyo beads? Probably pearls, but they also kind of look like Kamoyo beads. I just really think the Atlanteans may have their own supply of vibranium, and that is why they were initially targeted. Namor or some other Atlantean descends into this throne that is encased in the jawbone of a shark. I love how the top of the jawbone has 2 rows of teeth because sharks shed their teeth. And then a Wakandan versus Atlantean sea battle. Dozens of Atlanteans surrounding a vessel in a coordinated strike, and then the Dora Milaje leap off that deck tethered to knock them off the side of the vessel. I love this Jack Sparrow shit. And I want to know what kind of ship this is. Why are the Wakandans venturing out in the ocean? I have a theory for why they may be setting their sails in the final section.
And when I wake up,
So, who is our new Black
It's
Panther
gotta be
in this
Shuri.
black and gold suit? I initially
Is it
thought
Nakia or
since,
Shuri?
you know, Letitia Wright has put on some muscle. But based on the silhouette, I will say it looks more like Nakia, who is the first character we see in this trailer. But at the end of the day, I could be wrong. I just do think this figure looks a bit more masculine to me. And really, the clue I'm most interested in comes from the line of Kendrick Lamar's All Right that Coogler cuts to black on.
and when I wake up.
Yes.
Oh, Killmonger wakes up.
If the reason Ramonda considers Shuri dead is that Shuri is in the ancestral plane, recruiting cousin Killmonger to wake him up to resurrect him, that could be how we get Killmonger back in the suit. Remember, Thor: Love and Thunder's post-credit scene showed Jane Foster and Heimdall in Valhalla, another MCU afterlife alongside the ancestral plane in the Egyptian underworld in Moon Knight.
I mean, that's a good
reason
theory.
We saw Jane and Heimdall again, I think, was to indicate the possibility
makes sense.
of reincarnation or resurrection in this universe. Remember, Killmonger was buried at sea.
Just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from.
Oh, did they find his body?
Because they knew death was better than bombs.
One of the best lines ever, by the way.
The Atlanteans could have recovered his body. Remember, Ramonda needed T'Challa's body to resurrect him from the ancestral plane in the 2018 film. Presumably, to resurrect Killmonger, you would need his body. That could be why they're headed out to the ocean. And in this
To
trailer,
find
at
it?
the very beginning, there was one shot of Shuri in which she is in this golden, hazy, out of focus realm, and she's crying. What is making her cry? Who is she seeing? Who is she reuniting with in this moment? Perhaps she could be in her ancestral underworld, waking up a warrior to help her reclaim her home. Now, so much attention has been paid
And
to
Neremore's in the
Namor's
background.
that some have overlooked the context of this moment. Someone out of
It's a
focus
fight.
is climbing back to their feet on this beach, framed in this Panther's claws. Now, I assume it's Namor. Looks like it's a blur of Huerta's chest and his green jammers, golden gauntlets, and chest piece. But
It's
if
Hoochie
this
Daddy
beach
shorts.
is Wakandan, that would mean this is pre-flood. Because if they need those floodwaters to rise enough to flood the throne room, there wouldn't be a beachfront here. So Killmonger's resurrection and conflict with Namor in this moment might actually be the thing, the moment of escalation that leads Atlantis to retaliate by flooding Wakanda, a risk that Killmonger might consider worth taking. As Doctor Strange learned in Multiverse of Madness, resurrecting the dead may seem like a quick fix, but in the grand scheme of things, it's an unholy action to unbury the dead and can curse the living with unintended consequences. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EABoss.
Make sure you guys give him a follow.
Subscribing to Rockstars for more analysis of everything
Subscribe
you love.
to the channel. They get some good breakdowns.
Channel, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Yeah, so that was a lot to break down and digest. I like some of this. I like the theory about Killmonger. I didn't think about that. That makes sense, but I'm still leaning towards it being Shuri or Nakia. But either way, I think this movie's gonna be amazing. I learned a lot more. I know of Nearmar, but I don't know all the detail. I never read any of his comics and everything. I know who the character is, so I don't know all his origin and all that stuff. I know like the basics about him and everything. Basically, he's like the Marvel Aquaman. But yeah, again, I think this movie's gonna be epic. Can't wait till November. Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was coming out next year. I thought next year. So when they dropped this trailer this weekend, I was like, I forgot it was coming out this year. So that I'm actually hyped. It's a good way to end off Phase 4 because I thought Phase 4 was kind of like just mediocre. And after this week of Comic-Con, what they have laid out, again, I don't know why I doubted the man. Always trusting Kevin Feige. He knows what he's doing. Marvel killed it this weekend at Comic-Con. So I'm excited for what's coming up with this movie and just the MCU in general. Again, a lot I don't know. And I like not knowing about this stuff sometimes. I like just learning as I go. And some of the stuff that I know, I'm excited about. So again, I won't do a lot of the analyzing of the trailers and everything. I'll do reaction to trailers, but I want to go in this movie with as little outside influence at all. I just want to go in there and enjoy it for what it is. I've kind of stopped doing that in a lot of these MCU movies and these movies in general. I'll watch a few trailers for it, but the less I know sometimes, the better, I think, just to go in there and not have expectations to a certain level or expect a certain thing to come out of a movie when, you get disappointed when that's not necessarily was promised to you in the beginning. But again, I'll do a couple more breakdowns with this when they come out. I enjoy New Rockstars. They break it down real good. Let me guys know what you think. If you're excited about Black Panther Wakanda Forever, if you have any, knowledge or Neramore or anything of the comics and anything about the backstory of these characters, leave it down in the comment below. Till next time, guys, I will see you when I see you. Peace.